Hello everyone, Rabbi Abe here. We have an incredible video coming up for you. Haven't done anything like this. Before we get into it, there's a couple of things I want to say. First, I want to express my appreciation to each and every one of you who are a subscriber to my channel. We just hit 40,000 subscribers. Next stop, 100,000 subscribers. We want to get this information out there. This knowledge, information, not only helps us spiritually, but can, according to the ancient sages of the Kabbalah, can bring peace and an end to chaos, pain, and suffering in the world. And so we are wanting to do our part in order to do that. Second thing is, I want to say thank you to my student support team and especially Rachel, who has created for us the most incredible download, which you'll be able to download at the end of the video from the website at rabbieabe.com that is speaking about these holy names and how to use them for miracles, protection, abundance, sustenance, and all kinds of protection. All right. And the third thing is any way you can support, there's a rule in Kabbalah. Basically, if you really want something, you need to give something. And your support really helps me and the Rabbi Abe team get the knowledge out there, get it more out there to bring it to more and more people. So even $1, if you can afford $1 a month, that's helpful. Okay. Because all we need is really $1 from everybody, and we can, no limit how far we can spread this wisdom. Okay? That's all I have to say. Thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy the video. Hello, everyone. Rabbi Abe here. I'm very excited about this video because I'm going to reveal to you an ancient secret, probably around 4,000 years old. It is the 22-letter holy name. Now, I'll get into the particulars because there's different aspects of blessing that comes from these 22 letters, 22-letter holy name, rather, and it is divided into 4 parts. The 4 parts, I'll tell you right now what the blessings are of this name. The first section is getting our prayers answered. The second section is abundance and sustenance. That means money, success. And the third section is protection and miracles. The third section is divided into 2 different portions. I'm going to get into what it is, how to get it. Of course, you'll be able to download it on my website at rabbieabe.com for free. You just need to create a free account over there. It's the SkyPilot account. I know there's always questions about that. SkyPilot account doesn't cost you anything. And then you have access to the downloads. And this is something that can be downloaded. And I will explain to you also how to use it, how to meditate with it, and so on. Before we get into that, a lot of people ask, well, you should just pray to God. You don't need angels, you don't need this, and so on. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. I mean, God, the truth is the Kabbalists never really explained God because according to the Kabbalah, we don't know exactly what God is. Something which is endless and infinite, we don't really relate to that. I mean, we might think we do, and assign our own, assign our own ideas onto God. But whatever we assign personally as individuals, they're going to be limited because we are limited. So we can't imagine the force of the Creator, which is endless and unlimited, because we're limited beings. That's just the fact of life. We're limited. And therefore, the same Creator gave us ways that we can connect in a way that's closer to us. Okay? In very much the same way that in Judaism, we we don't pray to righteous people, no, but we use them in a good way. We use them, those that have passed on, very much, I think, in a similar way as maybe saints in other teachings. But in Judaism, we sometimes even go to the tombs of the righteous, and we do prayers there by their tombs. Now, we're not praying to that individual. No, we're praying to the same creator or for the same creator. But the fact that that individual was much closer in his spiritual or her spiritual status than we may be, we use them as conduits. And actually, they want us to do that, okay? In any event, I don't want to get into that. Angels are very similar in that each one has a function and they are closer to the force of the Creator, certainly than we are, and they are to be used. They are extensions of the Creator's spiritual light, spiritual force, spiritual blessing, but we may be able to connect easier. Now, for those of you who feel you can go direct, go for it. You know, that's great. According to the Kabbalah, we were given these tools to help make it easier for us. So I just wanted to preface the video with that. Let's get into it. There's something in Deuteronomy. I'm sorry, not Deuteronomy. In the book of Numbers. In the book of Numbers, in Hebrew that's Bamidbar, okay, which is not really numbers. Honestly, it doesn't mean numbers in Hebrew. It means in the desert. But I'm not going to go into that. So the English, it's a little bit of a corruption. But in chapter 6, verse 24 to 26, chapter 6, verse 24 to 26, there is something called, commonly known as the priestly blessing, the blessing of the priest. And in ancient times, this was what was used by the Kohen, or the priest in ancient times, called Kohen, K-O-H-E-N. If you speak Hebrew, you know how to spell that. And we know that on certain occasions, in fact, you know, this is done in a synagogue as well these days on certain occasions, but in ancient times, the high priest, went into the Holy of Holies, it's called, which was in the center of the Holy Temple, or in the tabernacle in biblical times, and he would go there once a year. That was yesterday, the Yom Kippur, depending on when you're watching this video. And he would invoke certain combinations of letters and holy names to bring down blessing for all the nations of the world. All the nations of the world, not just the Jews, all the nations of the world. That was his job. We don't have that anymore. We don't have that opportunity because there is no high priest. As long as there's no temple, there's no high priest available. But each one is given, we are all like miniature temples, okay? So there are those that say, well, your house of worship is like the temple, or as also certain texts state that each one of us is a temple, okay? As it says, build for me a temple and I will dwell within them. Not within it, within them, within the people. So we are here to build that temple within ourselves. And, and so, going back to the idea, in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, 24 to 26, we have the actual blessing of the priests. And it's, I think, more well known than not. I'll say it in Hebrew and then in English. The first verse is Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and protect you or keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Now that's very beautiful in English, the translation, but that's not really what it's about. I mean, it is also about that, but we understand through the Kabbalah that there are secrets and secret names that are within these three individual verses, and it is those names that we are after. But we're going to learn how to use the whole thing together to make it most effective. And as I said before, you'll be able to download these on the website at RabbiAbe.com, and with the proper instructions. Again, I'll talk about it here and how to do it, but so you need to know how to do it together with the actual Hebrew transliteration and the holy names themselves. All right? So, we get to the first verse, and the first verse, again, how do we do it? So we'll put it up here on the screen, the transliteration of Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. So the first thing we do is close our eyes. We say the verse, close our eyes, and meditate on prayers being answered. Now, what does that actually mean, that your prayers are answered? Again, we mentioned this in one of the other videos, Why You Praying to God, or Stop Praying. I don't remember the title exactly, but it's pretty popular, one of my videos. You can go search it out, but I'll put the video in the comment section, okay? Because the purpose of prayers are they're not to ask God for things. They're not. They're just not. Why? Because the Creator, God, is giving endlessly all the time. And if he's giving endlessly all the time, then why do I need to pray for it? Yeah, but we do. Why? Why? Because if we are not receiving the beneficence, then it means we lack a certain part of that desire, and there's a blockage. There's a blockage. We don't have the vessel at this moment. Now, in another moment, we may have that. But the prayers serve several purposes. According to the Kabbalah, it is not the physical prayers, but it's the intention behind the prayers that are 99% of the prayer. And so there are different meditations in every prayer. And again, the Kabbalah explains all these things. But at the very basic idea, basic understanding, we need to know why we're praying. And the overall purpose for praying is to create spiritual vessel through desire. Through desire. What is desire? How do you know when you have a real desire? Sometimes we say we want something, we don't really. We have blockages. For example, and I've used this example many times, that if I grew up in a household where my parents were always fighting about money, and it broke down the relationship. So as a young child, I will associate money or success with a breakdown of a relationship. So now I get older, and I have a wonderful wife and family, but not so successful. Why? Do I not have a desire to be successful? I do. I need to feed my family and so on. But there's a blockage. What's the blockage? Well, the blockage is the fear that if I'm too successful, it will ruin my relationship. And I don't want to lose my relationship. Now, this isn't going on a conscious level. We have unconscious desires. And the unconscious desire there is, I want God to protect me and my family so that it won't break up. And that's my real desire. It's my stronger desire. So we get actually what we want. That's our prayer. We didn't even know that we were praying for protection for my family, meaning protection of my relationship, to protect it from success. Now, even though on the surface I may want success, I may think I want success, it won't come. I don't have the vessel for that. I don't have the true desire for that. Why? Because I'm more concerned with the protection. Again, I'm not aware of this necessarily, probably not, but that's what's going on. And a lot of the times that is the blockage. So the blockage is lurking in there somewhere because the Creator can only fulfill the desire that is above all other desires. So when I truly have a passion for, let's say, success or the thing that I do, you can't have a passion for money. That's not a goal. That's not a goal. But I have to have a passion for the thing that I do, the thing that I contribute to the world, the work that I do, and then I need to be willing to do that 100%, whatever it is. My work, my job, my business, hopefully it serves others and is beneficial to others, to humanity. Then I will achieve some whatever degree of success. So the prayer then will be answered because there's a true desire. And I hope that idea is clear. Okay, so getting the prayers answered is about development of the true desire. And the first verse, together with the secret names, the secret letters, which I will give you, it's not just the verses, right? It's the combinations of the 22 letters of the holy name that belong to that verse. That's what assists us to remove the blockages in our desires. Okay? That gets our prayers answered. And I know this will answer a lot of questions for people. Excuse me. And this is the way it works with the other two verses as well. The next verse, may the Lord shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Again, together with the combinations of letters of the 22-letter holy name, is sustenance. So it's another tool for sustenance. We like sustenance, okay, because then we can share. We can give charity. We can help the less fortunate. So sustenance is a good thing, okay? Not for selfish desires or egotistical desires. We should all wish for the endless sustenance. That's not greedy, as long as you're going to share, right? And help others. So this combination, again, is to remove the blockages on my desires that relate to the sustenance itself. Okay? So similar idea that I gave you in the first one, getting the prayers answered, but I gave you a sustenance example, but it applies to everything. It can apply to relationships. It can apply to health matters as well, getting the prayers answered. I mean, doesn't the Creator want to heal us? All the time, 24/7. But, we have sometimes deep-seated blockages, right, that we're not aware of, unfortunately. And I don't want to go there, but, that's more for the, class on healing and health. Why are there sometimes health issues? There are simple ones and there are more complex ones. But 99% of the time, it begins on some deep emotional level right? When it's a difficulty. I mean, small amount of the time, that's the karmic process, or we don't want to say that's the time that a person. Yeah, also, there are times, okay, time that a person needs to leave this world, and we understand that, all right? Everyone has their time. But beyond that, illness and disease, it begins on an energetic level. It must. Everything does. Energy precedes physical matter. That's the rule. So things don't just happen. All right. We want to remove the blockages in the desire. That's the first verse. Second verse, sustenance and removing the blockages in the vessel to be able to receive sustenance. Again, with the letters of the 22 letter holy name. And we'll put that up on the screen and in the download, of course. And then there's the third verse. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And this is divided into two sections. The two sections are the vessel of protection, okay, removing, meaning, protection against negativity, negative people, negative energies, or God forbid, negative physical circumstances, anything that relates to protection. That's number one. And then the second part of it will be for connecting to the energy of miracles and wonders. That means beyond nature. So the first combination of the 22 letters there, again, relates to protection. And the second section of the 22 letter holy name relates to miracles and wonders. We should have every day filled with miracles. Creator is giving that all the time. We may not feel worthy. And what do you do then? Well, this is a I don't want to say a shortcut. There are really no shortcuts, but it will enable us to do whatever is necessary to feel worthy of the Creator's miracles. If we don't, okay? Some people may. But if you don't, you won't experience that, okay? And I'll tell you like this. About miracles, it's really not the miracles that we think. What are miracles? Now, a lot of people think, miracles are at the intersection with the thing that almost happened but didn't. Wrong. Why? Because in all of the Creator's beneficence, couldn't the Creator direct us down a different street so we would never experience that? So why do we need to go through that? And a near miss. You understand my question? In other words, my teacher of blessed memory would always say, you know what the greatest miracle is? The greatest miracle is you go from point A to point B and nothing happened. Because everything is a miracle. Once you're awakened to that idea, you wake up in the morning, that's a miracle. You understand how many things need to be going right just to do this, just to lift our hand in the air, how many chemical reactions, impulses, nerves, things, it's crazy. Should be more things going wrong than going right, the possibility, but it doesn't. That's a miracle. Do we appreciate it? Do we understand that this is a huge miracle? No, probably not often enough, right? So being awakened to the true miracles, when you have appreciation for those miracles that are generally unseen, you will receive more. Then your life becomes a miracle. Everything around you becomes a miracle. And it's the same life. but you will have amazing things happen to you. The Kabbalists explain that miracles should be commonplace. Not magic. No, not magic. It's a change of consciousness. Because when we don't appreciate, we may experience miracles, we won't even see them. When we're really in the proper consciousness, and this is the way to know, when you're really in the right consciousness, every single thing becomes a miracle, and you see it as such, and your life becomes completely different, unrecognizable for some people. But that's the way it operates. So I hope you'll be able to use the 22-letter holy name together with the blessing of the priest, the priestly blessing. You have all the information at rabbieabe.com. And that's it. Lots of love and blessings, and I will see you very soon on the next video. All the best. All the best.